Hey Gators!
We're back. Today, we're not going to be doing a farm tour, but we're taking you along as we celebrate
Earth Day and Arbor Day.
Next Wednesday, April 22nd, is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and that Friday is Arbor Day. So we're going to do two different activities to celebrate. We're celebrating a week early just so that we could share a video with you and maybe inspire you guys to celebrate Earth Day and Arbor Day in your own ways.
And we came up with some activities that you guys could do at home to enhance your property, if you have property, or even you could do some of these in your windowsill if you live in an apartment or something like that.
Yes, so the first activity I'm really excited about, we do them every year in class, is making seed bombs, which the second activity
is we're going to be planting some native plants and basically doing habitat restoration.
Yes, so we just left our local hardware store, True Value in Enumclaw, where we picked out the seeds we're each going to be using for seed bombs, and now we're headed out to some wetland property to do some Earth Day and Arbor Day celebrations. So,
what seeds did you pick?
Ooh, I picked,
drum roll.
I picked two. I was looking for things that were gonna fit in with the environment we're potentially planting these in, and maybe do some good since we're celebrating Earth Day and Arbor Day. And so the first, I picked a Pacific Northwest flower mix, which means all the mixed wildflower seeds in here are native to our area, so that we won't cause any invasive species outbreaks. Not us. We're not going to do it. So this is a Pacific Northwest.
Biosecurity risk for the weaver.
So this is one of my mixes I'm going to use for my seed bombs, which is pretty and safe for our local environment. And the other is a bee pollinator mix, which has different types of plants that provide some resources for our bee population, which is struggling lately. So also another environmentally friendly choice. What about you? What did you pick?
So, I don't know if I told everybody, but I've been getting into beekeeping. So, video to come for that, but the bees haven't come or anything. So, in celebration of that, and I am obsessed with lavender, I bought 3 varieties of lavender. So, I love the smell. Bees love it. It's going to make delicious honey someday. Really excited about it.
Lavender honey.
And then I got bee balm. Not really sure what it is. It looked cool and it has the word bee in it, so it must be good. This garden treasure is a delightful combination of lavender flower clusters and the pleasant aroma of mint and basil scented leaves. And it's a unique cut flower. So
bee balm it is.
We'll see.
Bee balm for the seed bomb.
I like it.
We'll let you know when we get to the property. Okay, we're here at the property, and we're going to start today with our native planting project.
Yes, it's going to be really exciting.
So planting trees is a super common way people celebrate Earth Day.
And Arbor Day.
Obviously, Arbor Day.
It's a twofer. BOGO.
Because planting trees has tons of benefits for the environment and for wildlife and for us.
They look nice.
They look nice. Yeah, so planting trees helps beautify land. It can help property values increase, and then for the environment, does all kinds of things.
Yeah, like and environmentally, they provide habitat and food sources for wildlife. They provide oxygen for the environment. They remove CO2 from the environment.
Stabilize soil, help with water retention, and all kinds of things. So that's what one of our 2 activities we're gonna do to celebrate Earth Day, and it's very appropriate for Arbor Day.
Right. And should we talk about our shirts?
Oh, our shirts.
Our shirts.
This week.
We have, do you wanna?
Go for it.
Grow short tree, it's your Earth Day.
We're gonna party
like it's your Earth Day.
we know you laughed at home. We're not.
We heard that giggle.
Yes, we did. We're that good. Should we introduce them to our trees?
I like it. Let's do it.
So these here are our little trees.
They're the elusive wild red tree dogwood.
Red twig. I messed that up all morning, so he was gonna take it, and now he messed it up too. So when people plant trees for Earth Day, they pick all kinds of things. They pick ornamental trees because they look pretty, or they pick fruit trees because they'll bear fruit one day. And he and I, because it's an Earth Day, Arbor Day combined project, and we're focusing on the environment, went with a native species. And so these red twig, these wild red twig tree dogwoods are native to the Pacific Northwest, and they are water loving. So we're planting them on this property. Down here is a really wet area. It retains flood water for a large chunk of the winter and well into the spring, so everything down here is water loving. And we actually have some red twig dogwoods that naturally exist down here, so we were going to do something that fit the environment and would be beneficial to where we were planting. The water, because of the nice weather, has actually receded quite a ways, but it's part of this giant kind of dip in the land. And so here we have this hillside, and you can see all the trees and the brush that grow in the hillside to stabilize the soil. So we're going to plant our red twig dogwoods up here on the hillside to help stabilize the soil and provide them that water loving environment that they like. We're gonna plant them a little ways away from the trees and out from the shade because they like at least 6 hours of full sun to grow. So Mr. Liveck's gonna teach us how to plant.
So what are the benefits of the red twig dogwood?
Oh, okay. So the benefits of our beautiful red twig dogwood, historically they were used medicinally for coughs and fevers, diarrhea.
They smoked them. They smoked the dried bark
during ceremonies, so they were really important to Native Americans back in the day.
Basket weaving.
Yeah, all kinds of things.
Traps.
Fish traps. But now today they're really good to have in these kind of environments, mostly for the wildlife habitats. They're an important browse for deer and elk and moose and mountain goats. We only have deer and rabbits around here that will enjoy these, but also rodents and goats. We pet goats. We pinned them up so they can't attack our trees, but they might eat them in the next few days. But rodents like voles and mice and different types, like the berries and the bark for different purposes.
Native bird species.
Native bird species really like them, especially for building nest materials and things like that. So we think they're a really good, beneficial fit for this environment. And that's why we're going to plant them.
And they were cheap.
Okay. We don't want to show you too much of the boring stuff. So while I sit here on the ground, taking a break, Mr. Liveck's been digging a hole, and he's digging the hole. See, I had a nice break sitting on a bag of soil, and he's been digging a hole, and he did a wonderful job.
It's a nice hole.
So to properly plant a red twig, what do we need to know about the hole you just dug?
So you want the hole to be 2 times the width of the pot. So this little guy, I don't know, you say that's
6-inch pot? Yep.
So
we want at least 12 inches.
And then you got about 6 inches this way and about 6 inches that way. So looks like it's a pretty good size hole for this pot. And then you want it to stick up just about an inch from the top of the hole.
Okay. So,
and then we're gonna need to plant these between 6 and 8 feet apart.
Okay.
So they're not competing with each other for resources.
Sounds good. So what next?
We plant.
We plant. What do we need to know about planting?
So first of all, we got the hole. So we're just gonna kind of gently open it up and see how it's really crusted over, like not crusted over, but it's bunched up. I always like to kind of give the roots a little bit of a, because they've been circling in those round pots. The roots just grow and they circle and circle and circle. So what you want to do is, I always like to give them a little bit of a, just to kind of free them up a little bit so they don't continue. Because if you don't break them up just a little bit, they're going to continue just to circle. So you want them to take advantage of that spacious hole that we just dug.
So are you trying to make them, instead of continuing circling, making the roots break free and point downwards into the soil, kind of?
You want them to spread,
Okay.
kind of in all directions. So you want them to kind of go this way, that way, and then they'll kind of take full advantage of that hole that we've just planted.
Okay.
I just like to break up the bottom so that they have... And then when you're breaking up these roots, it stimulates the growth hormone. So then they start growing.
Okay.
It stimulates root growth. So does that look like it's an inch above the soil?
No.
No. So we're probably gonna need to backfill that in just a little bit. Some of these
Get the rocks out. We have really rocky soil
really rocky.
in Enumclaw and on this property especially.
And we're on the bottom of a slope.
Yeah, look at all them rocks. Looks like it was tough work for the person digging the hole.
It was a workout, I'll say that. Let's see. That
looks good.
Pretty
It's
good.
hard for you guys to see, but if we get down here in the dirt, looks nice.
It does. So then we're just gonna go ahead and kind of fill that in a little bit. I think we're gonna run out of
Usable soil.
because there was a lot of rocks in there. So what are we gonna have to use?
We are going to use some of our tree and shrub gardening soil.
Indeed. I think it's about time to crack
Should I grab
puppy
that?
open.
Okay. I finally participated, did my part. I went and got the bag of soil for Mr. Liebeck. Now, when you plant trees, even native trees that are meant for this environment when they're young, it's good to frequently provide water for them, especially during the dry seasons like our upcoming summer, through their first year. And then after that, they'll be
established.
Yeah, their roots are established and they can kind of tend themselves. Obviously, watch them during the dry seasons, but native species do really well with a little bit of care in that first year.
Not rocks, but
Rocks and rocks.
some of that
More rocks.
extraness. I think we have it.
Ta-da! Grow short, tree. It's your Earth Day. Mr. Liebeck finished planting our 2 trees, 6 to 8, probably more like 8 feet apart. Are we done?
Not just yet. We still got to put some mulch down.
What's mulch?
So mulch is organic material, so shavings, some compost, grasses, dried. Basically, you want to put a covering over the freshly planted area so that it prevents erosion. It kind of forms a natural weed barrier, and basically it just prevents all the new soil from being washed away, exposing the roots. And this time of the year, it'll start to break down and add organic material to the soil.
So as he covers the exposed soil with mulch, for our mulch today, we're using some dried natural plant materials. Like I said, this property is very wet, and in the recent floods, it actually flooded and left all these grass debris on the land. When the water receded, the plant material did not, so it's been dried out into like a compost, and we're gonna use that as our mulch to be as environmentally friendly as we can be on our Earth Day, Arbor Day celebration. And now you can see all the soil's protected. It won't go away. Weeds can't get through. The debris will break down into organic matter and feed the plant and help it get started. And he's gonna wrap up the second one. And now it's time for seed bombs.
What is a seed bomb?
A seed bomb is essentially a bomb filled with seeds. So you can
Like
make
a
them.
bath bomb?
Yeah, kind of. Nature's bath bomb. You can make them in a bunch of different ways. We're gonna make them really simple way that doesn't require any electricity. You can literally do this at home with a few simple materials, but it's basically a ball of seeds and everything that a seed would need to germinate, so that they can be thrown like a bomb, and wherever they land, once the rain comes and exposes the seeds will grow. So that's what seed bomb is.
How revolutionary.
Yes, they actually started in 1938 by a Japanese microbiologist, and he would do vegetable seed bombs, and he'd have these bombs filled with vegetables, and he'd throw his seed bombs along riverbanks and wild open meadows and empty lots, and then he would let his vegetables grow like weeds. So we're going to teach you how to do that. So things that you need to make the seed bombs we're making today. The first thing would be seeds, which we already explained are seeds of choice and why. Lavender and bee balm for Mr. Liebeck, and then wildflower mixes appropriate for the Pacific Northwest for me, and a bee pollinator mix to support our bees. So the other things you would need are a good gardening soil, so any potting soil, topsoil.
Do you want me to be Vanna White?
Ooh,
That's really nice.
that's really nice.
That's really great.
Just right. So you need some soil. If you don't have soil, you can probably use the dirt from around your property, but we're going to give them a good start with some healthy soil. And then the last thing is some kind of drying clay, a modeling clay. We're going to do it air dry.
I'm going to model.
The key is it just has to be a drying clay. If it stays wet forever, that doesn't work. So those are your 3 ingredients. And now we're going to make some. If you look up making seed bombs on Google, like I said, there's a ton of different ways you can make these. And there's actual specific recipes that give you certain amounts. I make them every year in class, and we just estimate, and it turns out fine. So you're going to start with a nice ball of your clay. And this is kind of like the glue that holds everything together and protects your seeds. Then you're gonna take your soil and you're gonna work your soil into your clay. And the more soil, the better, because the soil is what has the nutrients and things that your plant needs. So you're just gonna keep working it in. And the darker you get it, the better. But you'd still want it, you don't want so much soil that it won't stick together, stick to itself. So you're gonna keep working that in. Seeds need a few things to germinate.
What is germination?
Germination, oh, good question, is when the plant actually emerges from the seed pod. So you get your first roots, which is called your radical root, and you get your first leaves, which are called the cotyledons. And when you get that first root and those first leaves to break out of the seed pod, you have germination. Very few plants, I don't know if any plants have 100% germination. Some species have higher germination percentages, but germination percentages out of every 100 seeds that are planted, how many plants. So the more soil you have in here, the better germination percentage you will have out of your seed bomb. So this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna try to do a little bit more, but if you look, you'll see that some of the pieces are still separating and not wanting to stick together. So I'm getting close because keeping it stuck together is really important. So I'm just gonna try a little bit more, and then we'll move on to our seeds. So to germinate, now that we know what it is, seeds need the right temperature, which tends to be a little bit warmer. So this clay is really good about keeping in heat, especially as your soil components decompose and generate heat. The clay keeps the heat in around your seeds. They need nutrients, food, which the soil and the we purchased a Miracle Grow gardening flower soil, so it has some extra bonus nutrients in there, but all soil has nutrients for your seeds. We'll feed the seed, and then it needs sunlight, which the idea of a seed bomb is you just throw it. You don't plant it, you just throw it, so they're exposed to the sunlight. And then they need water or moisture, and the moisture is going to be trapped in your clay mixture, and then it'll all dry out and protect everything. You'll throw your seed bomb, it'll rain, the rain will kind of melt away or wash away our clay, and exposing those seeds to that last recipe ingredient of water for our seeds to germinate. And then they germinate, and the roots can grow into the soil below them as the seed bomb melts away. So this is a really nice color for your seed bomb. It's gray, which ends pretty consistent throughout, meaning we have soil in all parts of the clay. So the next step is to add your seed mixture. So I'm gonna start with, let's start with my Pacific Northwest. I'm excited about this one because they're all local. So if you look, I have tons and tons of seeds, but you actually want a lot of seeds in your seed bomb. If you don't have lots of seeds, they may not get exposed and germinate. So I'm probably gonna do 1/3 to 1/2 of this mixture, so lots of seeds. Again, if you look this up online, you can find actual measurements and recipes. I used to use them, and now I just estimate. So we're gonna mix that in, trying to contain my seeds so I don't lose them.
They're native.
They're native.
It's fine.
Let them grow. Mix those in, and then when you're all done, you should be able to see kind of seeds spaced sporadically throughout your seed bomb. The bigger your seed bomb is, the longer it will take to thoroughly dry, and that is pretty key, letting them dry before you use them and keeping them out in open space, because if they stay wet, your seeds are going to bloom, but if you let them dry out, they will be good. So I might break this one into 2 separate seed bombs. Okay, so mine is mixing. If you zoom in there, you're gonna see all kinds of seeds, my little wildflower seeds, soil tidbits, and clay to protect it all. Like I said, this is big, so I'm actually gonna split it in 2 and make 2 little soil bombs. Done. Okay, on to the... How's your seed bomb coming?
It's coming. It's coming.
Do you know which one you're gonna make first?
I'm thinking I might do the bee balm one in half, and then one of the 3 varieties of lavender in the other, because I'll split it.
Ooh, very fancy.
Yes. So you just go like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Whatever way is easiest to mix it all in.
These don't have a lot of seeds in them, so I'm just gonna go for it.
One of each, there you go.
This is the bee balm.
The bee balm. I'm excited to
they're
see what
so
those
tiny.
seeds look like.
Tiny. Literally the tiniest things ever.
That's beautiful. So precious. You could maybe even split that seed bomb, like you've half as much clay for how little the seeds are.
Like
Beautiful.
that. Okay. And then just...
You just work it in there. We're having so much fun playing with Play-Doh in the front yard. Yeah. We highly recommend you guys.
Do you want the seeds like all the way throughout, or do I?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter because the rain washes the clay away, and the soil takes care of the seeds until the rain does that for you.
Okay.
Oh, yours is pretty. There it is, the bee bomb, seed bomb.
I'm gonna put it like that, so I know which varieties are which.
Perfect.
Bee bomb.
Okay, we finished our seed bombs. We got quite a load. Here's Mr. Liebeck's 4. And these 5 are my Pacific Northwest, and those 4 plus this one are my bee pollinators. I think I'm gonna give you some of my bee pollinators for your bees.
I love it.
Okay, so next, you let them completely dry. Usually takes 24 to 48 hours for the clay to completely dry. Don't store them in a seal, tie, lock, anything until they're dry, otherwise they'll mold. But once they're dry, you can store them, or you can
Throw them.
Plant them. We're gonna, just so you guys can see how they grow, we're each gonna plant ours in pots instead of throwing them. So we'll update you as our seed bombs produce their seeds. And
I dig it.
I think that's it. Anything else?
Happy Earth Day.
Thanks for helping me plant trees today.
We had fun.
We did have
serious fun.
Serious fun. There's nothing more fun than playing with Play-Doh in the front yard.
And dirt. Dirt and Play-Doh. Like, what more could a child at heart person like us like?
We hope you guys all celebrate Earth Day in your own ways next Wednesday on April 22nd.
And tell us how you celebrated Earth Day.
Yeah, share with us your ideas. You don't have to do it the way we did it. So bright.
And as always, don't forget to comment with anything that any questions you might have. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. And as always, wash your hands, don't touch your face.
Okay, until next time.